Jerry, anytime now. Okay, welcome everybody to the Town of Orangetown Town Board meeting of January 28th, 2025. Ms. Town Clerk on a roll call.
Councilman Paul Valentine.
Here. Here.
Councilman Jerry Vitari.
Here.
Councilman Brian Donahue.
Here.
Councilman Dan Sullivan.
Here.
Supervisor Teresa Kennedy.
Here, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. So we're going to workshop our agenda items first. We're going to open a public hearing. What's the matter? What? No, I'm just going to announce. That's more of announcing it. Right. So we're going to open the public hearing for the, basically it's to amend our code to deal with the definition of family, address some use and occupancy of residential dwellings. And then we're going to open the next public hearing, which is number 7 on the agenda, amending the town code with regard to dumping and trespass for the food scraps violations. Okay. Number 11, we have open a public hearing to looking to amend the town code that deals with the Historic Areas Board of Review. You can't hear me? Okay. Number 15 is where we resume the public hearing with regard to the zone change for 676 and 680 Western Highway and the north end of Ellsworth. And that brings us up to agenda item number 18. So we have number 19, accept with regret the resignation of Margaret Rasso from the Historic Areas Board of Review. Is Peggy here? No, she was on this board, I think, for 30-something years. So she definitely earned her time here. Number 20, we're reappointing Tom Warren to the chairperson of the planning board. Number 21, reappoint Andrew Andrews to the member of the Orangetown Planning Board. Number 22, reappoint Bruce Bond as the alternate member of the Orangetown Planning Board. Number 23, reappoint Shirley Goebel Christie as chairperson of the Orangetown ACABOR. Number 24, reappoint Sharon Burke to a member of ACABOR. Number 25, reappoint Michael Bosco to the chairperson of the Orangetown Zoning Board of Appeals. Number 26, reappoint Michael Bosco to a member of the Orangetown ZBA. Number 27, reappoint Anthony D. Robertis as the alternate member for the Orangetown Zoning Board of Appeals. Number 28, reappoint Charles Vizzetti to the chairperson of the Sanitation Commission. Number 29, reappoint Christopher Huber to the member of the Orangetown Sanitation Commission. Number 30, appoint Stefan Muno to the clerk to the Sanitation Commission. And number 31, approve the purchase of a website services from Revise. The town's going to be updating their website to make it hopefully much easier to use and comply with some of the legal requirements that are new. Number 32, approve the caretaker agreement for the Nike Park property. 33, approve the caretaker agreement for the Henry Borst property. Number 34, approve the 2025 agreement with the Hudson Valley Humane Society for shelter pound services. Number 35, approve the 1-year contract with the Fire Protection Service of Blauvelt. Number 36, approve a 1-year contract for library services for the Orangetown Library Districts with the Blauvelt Free Library, the Orangeburg Library, the Palisades Free Library, and the Tapan Free Library. 37, approve of a letter of intent for the sale of 159 Hunt Road in Orangeburg to Wharton Industrial Equity Partners. Number 38, approve a supplement agreement for municipal snow and ice agreement. That's with Highway. I don't know if Jim's here. 39, approve the retention of Collier's Engineering and Design to design construction inspection services for improvements to 2 traffic signals. I know this is something we've all been looking for. The 2 traffic signals that they're going to be looking at are the one out here on Orangeburg Road, which we have a lot of accidents on, and the one on Western Highway in Erie. So those are two they're going to be looking to come up with designs to make them safer. Number 40, approve a bid for a Freightliner vac all sweeper. 41, authorize the agreement with the New York State DOT regarding the Mountain View Avenue over the Sparkill Creek culvert replacement. Number 42, we're going to combine some of these issues. 43, we have award the mini bid for the Nelson Ford of Morristown Mustang Mach-E. This is grant money. We're getting an electric vehicle. 44, award a mini bid Ford Maverick XL. And number 45, award a mini bid Lincoln Mercury Motor Corp 2025 Ford F-250 pickup trucks, which are also grant money. Then we have accept some donation of memorial benches, which are lovely to do. So we have 46 and 47 are accepting memorial benches. 48, appoint Richard Godden to the position of grounds worker, probationary in Parks and Recreation, effective February 10th. And then we have number 49, accept funding from the Rockland County Stop DWI Enforcement. This is money that's coming to the town of Orangetown. Number 50, appoint Lisa Porco, senior clerk typist, permanent in the police department. Approve a license agreement with the town of Ramapo relating to use of the firing range. Approve a second extension to the agreement between Rockland County and the town of Rockland County Lead Law Enforcement Assisted Diversion. Sorry for the long agenda. We had our reorg meeting early January, so this is a lot of weeks of kind of cleanup stuff, regular stuff. So, number 53, accept with regret the retirement of James Doherty from the sewer department. Accept with regret the resignation retirement of Eileen Fitzpatrick, clerk typist. She's up in personnel. Accept with regret the retirement of Natalie Schutter from the finance department. Number 56, approve engagement letter for Capital Markets Advisor, our financial advisors for the town of Orangetown. Accept the retirement of Elizabeth Call, senior clerk typist in the Justice Court. And then we have receive and file, and we have the audit. We are going to have under new business 2 police officers that we're going to be hiring because we need to get them in the academy. That will be coming up at the end of the night. We're going to do that as new business. So, can I get a motion to open the public comment?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Okay, so this is the public comment that is on anything but the public hearings, okay? There's a 3-minute limitation. You'll see it up top. So again, this is not on the public hearings. They will have separate times. More copies of the agenda. Okay. The first person that signed up to speak is Yasmin Dar.
Okay, good evening. Hi, Yasmin Dar, South Nyack. I want to bring up an issue regarding Nyack College. The first issue is the event that was held in November, and at this meeting, it was discussed prior that the permits were given for that event. I pulled a FOIL request. There were no permits given for that event in whole, and there was no, I wanted to know why it didn't follow Chapter 11 guidelines of the town code, and why no public hearing or public notification was made that that event was going to occur, blocking a lot of the roads in the area and also disturbing people who live in the area. The second issue is the Kaiser bus service that is operating a city bus along the residential streets in the area, some of them along single lane roads that are not even have double yellow lines. I have 2 small children. My car is nearly sideswiped on a 2 to 3 time a week basis. It's dangerous. These roads are narrow. These buses operate at very excessive speeds, and they idle constantly for hours at a time. I've called the police a number of times, and the police have very graciously come at times to tell them to stop idling, but it is a constant issue. And so I want to know if this was an approved bus service. I did contact the Department of Transportation, pulled a FOIL request from them as well, and was told that, because I contacted the town initially, and the town said that they don't approve bus services. So I went to the Department of Transportation, they said they approved an extension from Kaiser Village to here, but the actual town is who says if that bus service can happen or not in that area. So again, no public hearing about it, no notification that that bus is operating in our small residential area. And the third issue is the fleet of golf carts that is operating not on campus, on the roads. And as far as I know, golf carts are not street legal vehicles. They are operating on South Highland, on Upland, on South Boulevard, and all the major streets in the region at excessive speeds, sometimes driven by minors. And so if that is a legal street vehicle, I think the town should let the rest of the people in the town know, because maybe other people would like to purchase golf carts to drive around town. Me and a number of my neighbors would love to use them to drive down to Main Street. So if something is going to be done about the golf carts, doing 360s around the neighborhood, I would also like to have a comment regarding that. Thank you.
I think it says Thomas Fitzgerald, although not, from Orangeburg. Am I getting it right? Does that say Fitzgerald? Am I? Right? No? Biggs? I know, was there Thomas? From Orangeburg. I can't make out the last name. Thomas F. Asterold? It could be Astrovold.
No, Thomas? Okay.
Yeah, it says Thomas F. Astrovold from Orangeburg. Oh, okay, we found him, okay.
Hello? Oh, good. Well, I live at Mountain View Avenue. I live at 15 Mountain View Avenue, and the construction of whatever you're going to plan on Mountain View Avenue and 303, number one, I don't understand why you want to do something different there, but I have a feeling that it has something to do with the warehouse space that they want to construct behind my house to allow semi-trucks to go have access to 303. And in my view, I'm very biased because I live next door to it, but in my view, Town Plaza 2, which is on the corner of Mountain View Avenue and 303, is probably going to lose a tremendous amount of business. And the shopping area across the street from me where Del Arte is, they too are going to be impacted by the flow of semi-trucks coming. Well, it's not the driveway that enters into that area. So I'm opposed to, if it's a construction that will improve the intersection, I'm in favor of it. But if it's being constructed to help the people build a warehouse behind my house, I'm totally against it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jimmy can address.
Yeah, I don't know, Jim.
I think
Jim,
that's
well,
flooding.
Okay, yeah, so do you want to come up here, Jim, and speak about this culvert? I mean, the work, it was being proposed long before the warehouse was coming in. It's for flooding, the culvert on Mountain View Avenue. Just, if you want to just give an update on where.
Yes, actually, the original award for that culvert was in 2019, prior to COVID, and it was the town of Orangetown applying to the state of New York under Bridge New York to increase the size of the culvert to help reduce flooding. So right now, that's considered a culvert, actually, which is under 19 feet wide, and the new structure will be 24 feet wide to help pass the water through faster at a different elevation. So that's how the project got started. It was slowed down because of COVID, because of the bidding processes through the New York State. The New York State Department of Transportation was working with the town to do the design, but the town is getting the funding through the Bridge New York program, which comes out of the Senate and the Assembly in New York State. There was a point then where it was decided that the bridge should be expanded, to be wider. And that's where we are now, going back to the new design that would then, if approved, if the town agrees to participate and accept the 1.5 million, then this project will be going out to bid, and hopefully we'll be in the process in the next 6 to 8 months. And we're in that process of selecting engineering firms to oversee the construction.
Okay, thank you. Okay, oh boy, no idea what this one says. Okay, Old Tapan. I don't know what the first name is, Kilbrowski?
Anyone here from
Old Tapan? I don't,
We must have signed them all. Yeah, we're mixed up, so. So my name's Chris Kalbowski. I wasn't planning on speaking. I just thought I signed in for the meeting.
oh, okay.
But I do have an opinion about the land that's being repurposed for the data center. Sorry. I do have an opinion about the land that's being repurposed for the data center next in the park area. So my first thought is if the land could be used maybe for the Little League. Has the town considered that? Secondly, I know there's multiple data centers going into that area, and I'm wondering if the amount of power that's going into that area is significant, because I know there's another 40 megawatts of power going into another data center. I know there's Bloomberg, which is 8 megawatts. You have another 30 megawatts. I'm not a power expert, but that's equivalent to more homes than in Rockland County. So my concern is the demand on the power grid and the infrastructure and the impact that will have for the region and the utility rates. And if there's some long-term planning that the town is considering, that should be considering rather than on short-term economic benefits. So I just have concern of how that area is being developed, and that I think there should be more very careful and considerate planning being done by the town and the county with the right people and the people with the right mindsets to really fully understand the context and comprehend what these impacts are. So I don't think these decisions I understand the short-term gains, but the impacts holistically and economically really need to be considered. Some of these state tax incentives on paper, black and white, look like they're benefiting the town short-term, but studies have shown that they're actually not benefiting towns in the long term. So, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
David Rosen?
Thank you. My name is Dave Rosen. So I wanted to build a little bit on what Chris had shared. The concern is related to the item number 37 specifically, and really the cumulative impact at 37, which is the suggestion to approve a letter of intent to build a new data center on a 8-acre property that's currently owned by the town. As everybody on the board knows, in the town, and some folks here may well know, there's been multiple data centers that have been built over the years, most recently a data center called Data Bank, which has not even been turned on. Bloomberg was built about 14 years ago, and as Chris shared, that's relatively small in today's standards by the amount of consumption of power or the impact on the environment. Data Bank the first phase was rated at 40 megawatts. The second phase, which is currently under being considered at the planning board and by various boards, if approved, will potentially use another 40 megawatts. And now this particular property, which is owned by the town, is suggesting another data center for a minimum of 30 megawatts. To put that in perspective, not even including the JP Morgan data center, which is, of course, in a slightly different area, but still drawing from the same power grid, that's 100 and, by my calculation, 138 megawatts. Just for everybody's perspective, 1 megawatt is enough to run about, I believe it's between 700 to 1,000 homes based on typical usage. So 138 megawatts is more potential power than the entire Rockland County uses for the homes. There's 103,000 homes in Rockland County by looking at the current stats. So it's just a tremendous draw on power. So building what Chris was saying, it just seems if the town has that extra property, many of the people at the various planning boards that I've attended related to the data bank scenario had complained about the inability to have parking for the Little League and the terrible situation that's created for the Little League. Why not use that property for the Little League and allow the parents to basically park their cars and enjoy comfortably watching their kids play, as opposed to giving it to a data center, which is going to be a real problem for the environment, potentially take down the power grid. We want to have more blackouts, more brownouts through Rockland County. So thank you for the opportunity to talk.
Okay, that's the only people that signed up for the general public comment. Is there anybody else who wants to speak?
Vanessa Lappin, 659 Western Highway, Blauvelt. I also wanted to speak about the data bank proposal, agree with the comments that were given. If the people from Hunt Road knew about this, they would absolutely be out here because they came to the data bank planning board to talk about how the proximity of data bank 2 and data bank 1, how close it will be to their homes. This is infinitely closer for those people that have lived here for generations. Additionally, the amount of noise generated by the Bloomberg data center is completely upsetting the lives of the people right over the border in Tappan. So this then begins to compound that. And then in addition to JP Morgan, there's another one across the street that's across from not Hunt, but the one that runs, kind of in the other direction. The name is escaping me, but there's another big data center there. So we're seeing this compounding, and it would be good if the town could look into the amount of not only power, but the amount of water that's consumed, because it's all, it all compounds every time we add it. Also, these projects come forth with no proposal to create any of their own electricity. There is no inclusion of any solar. I realize there's no way a solar panel can offset 40 megawatts, but at least some contribution. There is nothing in the plans to suggest that they might put solar up there. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else who has not, who hasn't spoke for the general public comment portion? Okay. Can I get a motion to close?
Motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we are now going on to the first public hearing. Can I get a motion to open the public hearing with regard to amending Chapter 43, defined family, and address the use and occupancy of residential dwellings? Motion?
I make a motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so I have signed up here Mary Ellen Flanagan? Oh, okay. Is there anybody that wants to speak on this particular matter? Okay, maybe I'll just, Rob, you just want to give an explanation of it?
Sure, we'll just address briefly, when the code enforcement is called somewhere, sometimes there's questions about whether or not a single-family residence or two-family residence is being used by one family. So this is an effort to address the issues of what defines a family. And the way that it's been interpreted is the way that we're asking the board to change the law, and that's basically where a group of persons operates as a single nonprofit housekeeping unit. That's the definition that basically has been approved by courts, statewide. So What changing the definition does, as you can see in there, it adds some presumptions that allow the code enforcement officers to more effectively enforce the code when presented with a situation. You know, sometimes people call in and have complaints about, you know, people living together and they're not a single family. Some of these presumptions will help, you know, if it leads to a prosecution for using the residence as not a single family. The one thing that the supervisor and I discussed earlier, for years and years, the code has allowed the keeping of not more than 2 non-transient boarders. And again, traditionally, that's, you know, people may, their kids leave, maybe they want to rent out a room or 2 in their homes. That's been permitted. This proposal is to cut that down to 1. I know that the supervisor might want to discuss that maybe with the board about maybe leaving it at the 2. It's been that way for 50 or 60 years, and that's not really the issue that comes up when we're addressing issues related to family. It's really other issues. The second part is illegal occupancies. Again, there's a new section being added that, again, a little more clearly defines illegal occupancies. And again, it's another tool to help the building department, when necessary, to go after you know, people who are violating the code by having more people than are permitted in a single family or 2-family home. And again, this mostly applies to residential. So that's a unfortunately long explanation of that. But again, the one item for discussion would have been the border issue.
So this is under section 3. I mean, I think we had kind of talked about it. I feel like we're throwing out the baby with the bathwater, you know. I mean, we all know people. I know the local fireman that rents out 2 rooms to, you know, his buddies until they get old enough to boot them out and whatever. But, so I don't know, do we want to reduce it to 1 is the question. I'm okay with 2.
It is open for discussion. Did you want the public portion is still open? Somebody's asking if they
Yeah,
can
if
speak.
somebody wants to speak on it?
No, you gotta come up.
You got to come up. Yeah.
Just say your name and the town you live in. Just say your name and the town you live in, for the record.
For the record, my name is James McCaffrey, Ellsworth Drive, Blauvelt. I think you're really overstepping your bounds here as far as how many people live in a house and, you know, that kind of thing. Who's to tell who lives in home? As long as they're paying their taxes and their bills and whatever, it's really not your business who's living there or anything else.
I know.
You know, really, I think you really overstep your bounds, and big government, again, looking into things that really are not that important to you. Roads, highway.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but the reason that this came up is because people were renting out individual rooms in a house. And you could have 15 boarders living in a residential area with 1 person in each room.
You want to speak to some of your neighbors before you continue
Pardon
with
me?
this?
Pardon me?
You might want to speak, some of the other people are going to speak about it.
Well,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
well, I'm up now, right? I got another 4
I'm
minutes,
sorry.
but,
Go ahead.
No.
you know, it's really, you know, if that's illegal, so be it. But if I want to rent out a room in my house, whose business is it? Not yours.
You're permitted to rent a room in your house.
Of course. 2 rooms.
Oh, you
That's
agree
what they're
with me.
debating.
Well, that's
Okay,
what
we agree.
discussion
I
is.
say 2. I'm good. We're good.
Well, 2. All right, we'll say 2, 3. As long as you're paying your taxes, you're not doing anything illegal. What's the difference? All right? What's the point? You're just overstepping what you have to do. I'll give up my time. Thank you very much.
You don't have to take those. Okay. Either one, just come on up. I'm going to have to reduce it to 3 minutes.
Barbara Dello, Blauvelt. I guess what I'd like to ask you to do is to go back and really think this through. Nobody here wants houses bought or rented for a bunch of transients. My mother grew up in a home like that, where the people from Belmont Stakes would rent rooms. And yet, on the other hand, for a lot of families around here, having somebody rent in their own home does allow them to stay. I think one is too little. You know, this may be the only way that they can afford to stay in the community. So kind of go back and really think it through and say, how could we help protect from, you know, just a whole neighborhood of transients and, you know, turning into a slum? And how can we also protect the families and help them in what's increasingly becoming a much more expensive community? Thank you.
Negrino. Okay, yeah. This is your fault. I wanted to say, why didn't we need more? It's your problem.
Am I good to go?
Yes.
My name is Patty Poach. I live in Pearl River. I think we're missing the point of what the town is trying to do for us. They're trying to protect us because in some areas, houses are being sold to people who are not living there, but then are renting individual rooms to transients. It's not about bringing somebody in to help you pay your taxes or anything like that. Some things have to be done to protect us, and this is to protect us because of the fact, and I repeat myself, people are buying homes, LLCs, then they have multiple families living in a single family home. This is what we're trying to prevent by putting this law, whatever it's called,
Law, yep.
okay, that two people, you can have two boarders. But by putting it as two boarders, when somebody comes in and has 5 boarders in their house, then we can turn around and say, you can't do that. That's what they want to do.
Thank you. So I think, Paul, you said 2? Yeah, I think we're okay with 2. No, you can't speak again, I'm sorry. We can't, only if you haven't spoke already. On this.
Rob, how would that affect local law 7 with owner-occupied 2-family?
Yasmin Dar, South Nyack again. I just want to say that I understand where some people are coming from. I agree probably with the 2 occupancy. To say what's the harm, there is harm. And to say, oh, that person's paying their taxes, but you have to take into account, say that person has 5 people living in the house, and those 5 people have 3 children, and those 3 children need to go to school, and now the school has more people in it, and now the school's cost goes up, our taxes go up. So there is some harm, not to mention all the other issues that regard to crowding, garbage, recycling, and everything else. So I do think I understand the perspective of, yes, people want to rent a room in their house or 2 rooms in their house, they have family, they have a nurse or whomever, or an au pair even say. But when it gets to a certain number, I think that it's going to overrun, and there is a greater effect that does occur.
Thank you.
Along those lines, what about the homes that are sold to churches where they have large congregations that they're not even paying tax, they're a nonprofit organization? That kind of falls in the same vein as renting a room and paying taxes, in my view. Now, I'm not against religion, I think it's fine. You can practice whatever one you want, that's your choice. But my taxes go up because you don't pay tax on your thing because you have a religious idea to utilize your home as. Now, there are a lot of people that maybe stay in those homes that are, I don't know how many people stay in those homes. It could be 2 families, 3 families to organize what's going on. I don't know. But if we're talking about taxes going up, that's one place to look. Thank you.
Yeah, sure, come on up.
My name is Mary Ellen Flanagan. I live in Pearl River. I live on the western part of Pearl River. It comes to Chestnut Ridge and Montvale, New Jersey. Chestnut Ridge has a very large Hasidic population. We had an ultra-Orthodox family buy the house next to us. The woman passed away and her daughter took the highest bidder and sold the house. They in turn found out that they could not get busing in Pearl River to the private yeshiva. So they stayed for a while, and then they put it up for rent. They put the house up for rent for $4,000. They had, I live right next door to the house. They had a group of people come in to do some kind of work. The gentleman and his father had them come, and they went and did work within the house. Nobody knew exactly what took place. They have a front door, they have a side door. They have part of the people use the front door, part of the people use the side door. The rooms from when we could see in, the dining room became a bedroom. Whatever happens in there, we don't know. We assume. We had all cabs, different times of the evening, different times at night. We had kids, we had no kids. We had people coming in at 2 in the morning and leaving at 6 in the morning. It is over and beyond, and it's not just on my street. It's happening all over. And they're buying up properties, and they're putting in, my son lives on Braunsdorf. He had a house that actually they were put out. And they had at least 6 cabs, Continental Cab, I don't know who owns it, but they use them, the Hasidics use them to take them to and from. He lives across the street, he has 3 kids, people out in the street constantly. It's over and beyond. I understand a grandmother who wants to keep her home and has an extra room to rent. I understand that. I get that. But what's happening here, and everybody here should understand this, has been going on for a long time. This District 97 that we had, all these things are happening, and people over on this side don't seem to understand it's happening. Your zoning, if you change your zoning, that's going to happen. It's going to allow them to build, and what you get is what you get. But we have to do something. We can't legally go in. I mean, I called the cops last New Year's. I called them because the party went on till 5 o'clock in the morning, and when a child started screaming, that was it for me. But they couldn't legally go into the house. They had to speak to them on the outside. This is happening. It's a big problem, and I don't know how is it determined. Supposedly the people that rent this house out, who was found and it was investigated, is fined. He pays his fine. And then he just does it, it keeps happening. And what are we supposed to do, babysit? I mean, I can't constantly be looking out my bedroom window. I mean, it's terrible. It's just, if there's a way of going about it, if you want to rent your house out, you own the home, but you want to rent it out, isn't there a way of legally saying, okay, this is the amount of people you can have in here? You have 2 families or 1 family? How do you do that? And can you go in and legally look to see what they've done to the house before they rent it out to all these people? Because it's cut, they're definitely cut up. The house is cut up and it's used. Well, inspectors. Well, we've called them all.
Okay. Yeah. Well, why don't we?
So that's what happened.
Is there anybody else who wants to speak on this issue, who has not had a chance to speak yet? Okay. So I'm good with 2. You're good with 2? Okay. Good too. Okay. So.
Just take out section 3, and I'll renumber those others.
We're approving it with the removal.
Approving as amended. And also, if you're taking that out, I would recommend under B, that it's presumptive evidence that 4 or more persons living in a dwelling unit who are not related do not constitute a single housekeeping unit, instead of 3.
Okay. I know, here he goes.
The change would be, it shall be presumptive evidence that 4 or more persons.
I think you should just put it in terminology, because it's going to be confusing.
I'm reading it.
The owner and 2 other people.
I don't think we can change the law like that. This has been litigated before and approved, so I would suggest just making it 4. That it's presumptive evidence, meaning if there's 4, it's a presumption. Doesn't mean that they are not a single housekeeping unit. It's just simply a presumption that helps with the prosecution.
Is this separate and apart from the 2, and the 2 transient people?
It is.
Okay.
Again, you want me to answer?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So a family could have 10 people in it, right? Or a family could have 1 person in it. What the law has, I don't know if you read it, but there are certain presumptions that the building the law would allow the building department to take and address in court. It doesn't mean that it's final. It just means that a judge could rely on these presumptions, just like the building department. And that presumption would be that 4 or more people who are not related, there's a presumption that they don't constitute a single housekeeping unit. Now, they may constitute a single housekeeping unit after further review, after further evidence. Again, simply because 4 people are living together who are not related, that's not enough to file a violation. That's one presumption of many presumptions that are listed in the law. So all I'm suggesting is if we're taking out the border situation and leaving it as 2, that would mean an owner could have 2 people. So currently it reads 3 or more persons. It would be presumed that they weren't a single housekeeping unit. I'm suggesting, since you're changing that or leaving that number at 2, that this number, instead of being 3, should be 4. So 4 or more persons would be the presumption, instead of 3 or more persons.
Okay.
It could be, yeah, and there are many other factors. Frankly, that's the type of scenario that comes up often where neighbors challenge it and are upset that there's a house of college students living next door. So there are a number of other factors. That would be one factor. Then there are a number of other factors to look to see if they're living together as a single housekeeping unit.
Okay. Okay,
So with those changes.
Yeah, okay. So wait, I don't even think I closed the public hearing, did I? Okay. Can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second it.
Okay.
All in favor?
Okay.
All in favor?
What's that? Oh, you all in favor?
Aye.
I'm just trying to do, we already got those changes in there. That's what I'm saying.
I'm sorry?
We got the changes that you just made in there.
Right, when it's adopted, say adopted
Okay.
as amended.
Okay. Okay, so the next one is designation of lead agency with respect to this law under SECRA. Can I get a motion?
I make a motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 6, so can I get a motion to adopt the local law as amended?
I make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Where am I here? Okay. Okay, so we're done with that one. On to the next one. Okay, can I get a motion to open the public hearing with regarding to amending the town food scrap violation section? Motion?
Motion open.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, so I have Rogera Michelle? You were just signing in? We had a lot of that tonight. Okay, I'm going to guess that Mara, it was the same way? Okay. Is there anybody here that would like to speak on this particular public hearing? For those who don't, we have the food scrap recycling bin down at the highway department. We found people were dumping stuff they shouldn't have been dumping in there, so this is basically a local law to have a fine. So if they're caught, they can be fined. You have to have a local law for that, so that's what this is. Okay, nobody wants to speak on it? Can I get a? Sure, absolutely.
Thanks, sorry. Ruggiero Pearl River. Is there a way to ensure that residents using the bins are properly educated about what can and can't go in? I understand there's lists and signage and everything like that. But I still feel like some background. I guess we are trying to launch a business collecting food scraps and taking them over to the drop-off site for people because the hours are just short. And people just seem confused, like, can I do this? Can I not do this?
Right.
Can I do this? We do our best to try to answer those questions, but we're often confused ourselves. That's all.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we do our best. I mean, certainly at the bins, there's a lot of signs, but, and again, I don't think it's the people that are doing it unintentionally. We have people throwing plastic bags in there and coffee cups in there, and it's very frustrating. But yeah, I mean, we will do our best to try to educate people what they could put in there. And on that note, can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, can I get a motion to declare the town as lead agency in this matter under secret?
Motion.
And it's type 2 action, that's part of that motion.
That means there's like no environmental impact?
Correct.
I think we should get bonus points on this one. Okay, can I get a, sorry, so did somebody moved it? Brian moved it? Okay, second?
Second.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and can I get a motion to adopt the local law to amend the town, Chapter 11 dumping and trespass?
I
Motion?
make a motion. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, next public hearing. Can I get a motion to open the public hearing regarding the change to the makeup of the Historic Areas Board of Review membership and authority? Motion?
I make a motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, nobody is signed up to speak on this. Is there anybody who would like to speak on this local law? For those who don't know, we had a Historic Areas Board of Review that was made of 7 people. We had a couple of resignations, retirements, and sadly, an untimely death. So we are we're reducing the size of the board to 5 and taking away one of the criterias for what the board member has to be. So.
Also, there are some things, or some applications that are required to go to Akabor, and if they're in the historic district, they have to go to both Akabor and Habor, and that has created some problems, so we're eliminating that by allowing Habor to do some of the things that Akabor does for
Trying to streamline
permits
it a little
in-
bit.
For permits in the historic
Yeah,
district.
and the Historic Areas Board did get notice, they got copies, they apparently are not here to object, so that's a good thing, I guess. Okay. So what do? Do we close? Can I get a motion to close?
Motion.
I didn't close it, did I? No. Okay, Jerry moved, second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And again, Town of Orangetown, here the town board is declaring itself to be lead agency pursuant to SECRA, number 13. Can I get a motion?
A motion.
Again, a type 2 action.
Motion.
Brian moved, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion to adopt the amendment to Chapter 18A, again regarding the Habor membership and authority? Motion?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, you leaving? Okay,
recusing myself.
okay. Councilman Sullivan is recusing himself and leaving the room, for the record. Okay. Can, in light of the number of people here, and I think what do you think, about 4 minutes for the public hearing? 4 minutes?
3.
Yeah? Yeah, I mean, we usually do 5 for a public hearing, but it's going to be a long night, so I think we've heard it a couple times. I think 4 minutes? Okay. So we're going to allow 4 minutes for the public hearing, because there's a lot of people that want to speak. I'd rather give more people time to speak than other, okay. So can I get a motion to resume the public hearing of September 24th continues to December 17th on the proposed zone change.
I make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I have a list here now. We should not do this many public hearings in one night. Okay. The first one I have signed up is Vanessa Lappins.
Vanessa Lappins, 659 Western Highway, Blauvelt. The planning board in their last meeting called the change drastic. That's kind of one of the newest pieces of information that I'm sure you have in front of you. I'd also like to let the board know that we have a petition with 887 signatures in 72 hours against this proposal. So hopefully you take that under advisement. We're going to continue to keep the petition open, and we'll continue to update you on the progress. All of the other things I would have to say, I've said before, either in letters or speaking to you directly, so I really just wanted to communicate those two new things, and I'll give up my time to others who need to speak tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Jared Esposito.
Good evening. I'm Jared Esposito. I reside at 37 Lieber Road in Blauvelt. I strongly oppose the zoning change where I was born, raised, and currently live. I feel that this change would jeopardize the charm of Blauvelt and its suburban atmosphere, and this change will be detrimental to all those in Blauvelt and Orangetown. Thank you.
Thank you. Henry Wemmer.
Henry Wemmer, 107 Sunset Road, Blauvelt. Good evening. I'd like to take a minute here and bring to your attention what appears to be a blatant attempt of the petitioner, Edmund Lane, influence the decision of this zoning change. According to the State Board of Elections website, Edmund Lane has made 4 contributions in the last 15 years. First was August 2009. 15 years later, the second was made on May 6, 2024, to board member Dan Sullivan for $1,500. The third was made May 14th, 2024, to Orangetown Republican Committee for $2,000. The fourth was September 10th, 2024, when Mr. Lane contributed an additional $2,500. 3 donations for the total of $6,000 within 5 months, all coinciding with this petition for a zoning change for property that's been vacant for years. The Orangetown Republican Committee's names, their elected officials, and 4 members and a handful of others coincidentally absent from this website is Dan Sullivan, who received his own direct donation from Mr. Lane. Rather than to give these 4 candidates direct, I believe Mr. Lane opted to backdoor his campaign contribution via the ORC. Let me be clear. It's not the board member's fault that this was done, and you might not even be aware of it. I think it's obvious that Mr. Lane thought he could influence a zoning change since the timing of these contributions can be perceived no other way. In my opinion, his actions put the board in a very difficult and unwanted place. Mr. Lane, I believe, does Mr. Lane think he can manipulate the town board via campaign donations for his own personal benefit? I think he thought $6,000 was a great return on investment. For this reason alone, if I were a board member, I would vote no to someone that hurts my credibility and reputation and makes it appear that my vote can be bought. Regarding a specific donation to board member Sullivan, Mr. Lane said at the last meeting, having received a donation from somebody close to the application, he would recuse himself from any discussions or hearings. This statement leads to a few questions. The donation was reported to the Board of Elections on May 6th. When did Mr. Lane first learn of the donation? Has he been involved in any of the discussions or hearings, voting, before or after learning about these donations? Since we know the applicant, Mr. Lane himself, donated this $1,500 on May 6th, who was the somebody close to the application that also donated money, and how much? Or if the somebody close was Mr. Lane, why not say that? Was it an attempt to hide the fact from the public? I want to finish by saying I understand that the elected officials cannot control who donates to their campaign or other fundraising entities, and that the donations themselves do not equate to influence. Unfortunately, it's the perception that matters here, and in this case, the timing of these contributions and the attempt to influence the board is undisputable. I want to finish by thanking the members for their time and consideration of this matter. And I would vote no to this zoning request. Thank you.
Pat Flynn.
Pat Flynn from Blauvelt also, and it just seems that this is excessive to put that many buildings when it called for 2 originally, 1 per 2 acres, and it just seems completely excessive.
Thank you. Marie Flynn. Oh, she's not here, okay. James McCaffrey.
James McCaffrey, 28 Ellsworth Blauvelt. Thank you for your attention to this matter. As stated, you can hear there's a lot of opposition to this proposal for a zoning change. Said person who bought this property at a certain zoning should not expect to profit from a different zoning situation. He must live with what he bought. I feel that way. Why should you profit by more zoning, more homes on property that was intended to have such and such? I'm not against the man, and I'm not against making money. But as everyone can see, the traffic, the wildlife, the drainage into the reservoir, the beauty of the area, the suburban appeal to the area would be destroyed by mass cutting and making a major zone 1 R15 homes, quarter-acre homes. It just would destroy the whole area. I'm a property owner there. My values would go down. Not that that is the major reason. I really don't want to see something like that happen to an area that I've lived in 40 years and has been there a lot longer than that. We can go way back to the water company owning that property as a watershed, so nothing would be built on, so that there would be natural drainage into the reservoir. That's way back. So they did sell the property to whomever, Mr. Lane. But as I said, zone R80 is acceptable. That's what he bought it at. If he wants to build on that, so be it. To change it down to an R15 is ridiculous, and I think most of us would agree on that. Thank you very much.
Michael Lazar. You pass, okay. Don Gable.
Don Gable, Blauvelt, New York. I'll make it quick, too, because I think I've already made myself clear to the board. I've been here several times and written you a couple of emails. But the Rockland County Highway Department had an interesting comment on December 30th, and I know they've revised some of the comments, but these ones I'll read to you are not revised and still sort of are there. Number 1, it says, it appears the proposed zone change may have a significant adverse impact on the environment in the district. The RCHD believes that SEQA review may be required. I haven't seen one posted as of 6:05, I think, this evening. Number two, a portion of it here, the acceptance of the proposed zone change would result in overcrowding of 3 individual tack lots in the district. The action would set a precedent for neighbors seeking the same relief. The cumulative of such overcrowding of lands in the district would certainly have a substantial adverse change in the existing traffic, transportation, noise levels, ground surface water quality, and it goes on, potential for erosion. Rather interesting, isn't it? That these aren't even traffic kind of concerns, but these are county concerns that were sort of, you, last time you spoke, said they weren't concerns.
The Rockland
So-
County Planning Board is somebody different. The Rockland County Planning Board gave comments, and it was nothing like that. That's
Well,
Rockland
this is the
County
Highway Department. This is
No,
it.
no, no, I'm just saying, but we have to legally get comments from the Planning Board. We don't have to from the Highway Department. We did that as a, just as a.
So
an
we
extra-
got them and they don't fit what you want, so you're
I'm
not going to.
saying that. I'm saying, but you're saying that the
All right.
last time we said they didn't say it, that was a different legal entity. It was the
Okay.
Planning Board.
All right.
Rockland County Planning Board.
And that's it. There are other things on there about it, but again, I think you're aware of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, right.
And the newer version of it, yes, they did recognize that they ceded one of the lots because they sort of had to, because of the wetlands issue, and they're ceding to the town to take care of. So now we'll have a federal wetlands detention pond that is our responsibility. And all the watershed from that development is going to add to that. And again, I've mentioned to you there are other conservation concerns that will arrive soon on that watershed with the loss of beech trees completely in the area. I know the area. That whole Ryapin area is full of beech trees. Doesn't impact the builder. It impacts the quality of water in the area. Thanks.
Brian Harmon? Ronald? Okay. Jerry Brady?
Jerry Brady of Blauvelt. My wife and I live on Sergeant DiMiola Road, a stone's throw from where this property is. And I spoke at the last hearing, but generally, we're dead set opposed to a reduction of the zoning from R80 all the way down to R15. It would just seem more suitable if we were looking at an application for a change to 1 acre zoning in that area, because that would be more in character of this whole area, including that Western Highway corridor, which includes the Macy's Farm and a bunch of residential properties up there that are 1 acre or greater. So that's where we stand on this. We hope that the board is listening and that we get a fair result here. I think a change to 1 acre zoning certainly is a fair result for the developer, and hopefully he will realize that and we'll be able to reach an agreement. Thank you.
Thank you. Joy Macy? Joy Macy?
Joy Macy, 690 Western Highway, Blauvelt. I abut the property just to the north, and I've spoken before, and everybody knows how I feel, but I just wanted to once again refer back to the comprehensive plan that was adopted less than 2 years ago, and there's nothing about this kind of downzoning that is consistent with that plan. The feedback from the residents was that they wanted more open space. They wanted the hamlets to retain character. Smaller lot sizes are appropriate near the hamlet centers, but not on this stretch of Western Highway where the houses are further apart, more space, more vegetation, coming onto the Hackensack River. People also chose to live here for 81% for community character. 55% said the quality of life has declined, with the top reasons being overdevelopment, more noise, more traffic. And then when asked, should residential development be encouraged, only 21% of Blauvelt residents thought there should be more development. So I believe, as a lot of the people here do, that this density being proposed by this applicant is inconsistent with the newly adopted comprehensive plan and also inconsistent with what the neighborhood wants and, you know, everybody that lives around there and for the whole town. So thank you very much for your consideration.
Michelle Brisson? Brisson?
I might go a little over 4 minutes. I timed myself, and I did some editing, so I might be under 4. Okay. So many of us attending these meetings and writing letters to you are concerned about the proposed zone change on Western Highway. We are all thinking about the impact of development, and no doubt each one of you on the board is also thinking about the impact of development. There is much in the comprehensive plan that guides us to think long-term and to think carefully and act responsibly with zoning decisions and the protection of our green spaces. One example in the comprehensive plan is Goal 5, which states, preserve the town's natural resources and increase access to parks and open space. Larry Vales spoke sensibly at the last meeting on this matter and recently wrote and copied each of you a letter about this proposed zone change. I just want to share the summary of his points. One is no realistic basis for supporting the zone change was offered and little, if any, analysis of the issue was presented. The town board would do well to think harder about this decision. Adding additional housing for the purpose of increasing school attendance is questionable at best. Rezoning these parcels from R80 to R15 will result in higher overall costs to taxpayers. Though in general, housing is certainly in demand, the most critical needs are for more affordable housing units, not the proposed housing. And the applicant now has a property that can be developed by right. No hardship or restriction on these rights is claimed. The town is under no obligation to make zoning changes. The claim that a change to R15 zoning would integrate well with existing zoning is misleading at best. In fact, larger lots would be more in character with the area, as mentioned previously. Western Highway is an historic road and offers value to the town and its residents. Zoning can either enhance or degrade this benefit. The property adjoins source water reservoir property and contains a protected wetland. And then last, zoning or uses other than the proposed R15 zoning may be worth consideration, but a change to R15 zoning damages the neighborhood without providing any benefit to anyone except the applicant. The town should not be in the business of granting zone changes merely as a favor to the developers. Also at the last meeting, Larry Vale urged the board to think creatively about this. The property is a large tract of land with wetlands on it that adjoin the water company property that stretches down to the Hackensack River. This much green space, this much contiguous green space is rare and increasingly rare in our area, and it's an opportunity. So part of me wants to talk to you about the box turtles and the fox and the frogs, all the wonderful creatures and plants that live there. Now, while we're sitting in this room and talking, they're all there, but I'm not sure you really want to hear me going on about all of them, so I'll just say, however, planning for and protecting the green space in Blauvelt for humans is your concern, and it's in the comprehensive plan. So I'm asking each of you to rise to this challenge, to step back, to pause, and to think creatively, to consider the possibility of leaving this land as R80 for one more year, and to use that time to form a diverse committee of residents. Could I have a few more? I'm almost done. Thank you. And to use that time to form a diverse committee of residents to explore ideas for possible solutions. Let them focus on not what's best for the builder, but what's best for the community. They might look into the viability of the town purchasing this, suggest the viability of the town purchasing this green swath. They might explore rezoning ideas, cluster development ideas. Maybe part or most of it could be a low-maintenance green space with trails for the public to enjoy. I'm almost done. But with this committee, you might get creative ideas that aren't just about crowding in more houses, and you might get greater consensus from the community on this. I think we need to think more creatively about undeveloped land and green spaces that are left in our communities. And I think we can find a better solution rather than just going the same old route of caving into more building that really doesn't help the community. Thank you very much.
Michael DiRobertis.
Hello. I'm Michael DiRobertis. I live in Blauvelt. I grew up in the area. I'm 33 years old, and over the last 30 years, I've seen a lot of development here in our community. I grew up playing in the woods all around Orangetown, a lot of them which have been developed. I think rezoning this property would be a mistake, and I would urge the board to value the green space that we have left in the town. Thank you.
Okay, that's the last name that I've signed up. Is there anybody else who has not had a chance to speak? Duke it out, you two. You're a gentleman. Thanks, Wayne.
Hi, it's Barbara Dello Blauvelt. I do hope you extend the same courtesy to all of us that you did to this other woman in terms of speaking. I want to talk about the same piece of property. It's not a good idea to build on wetlands. My husband's an environmental engineer, and if you build on wetlands, you're going to have water problems in the cellar. As I understand, this property was designated wetlands and is no longer designated wetlands. And I want to know what changed. Did it rain less? Has the elevation changed? Has global warming reversed? It does not seem like it's prudent to build on lands where we know have problems. And if they add a lot of fill to raise up the property, that water is going to run to the neighboring properties, which may be somebody's home. Secondly, something does not feel right about the story of this land since it changed to water company ownership. How come this land, the water company needed this land? It had to acquire this land from somebody. Maybe it should not have, and now it doesn't need the land. How come it needed it? Now it doesn't need it. Maybe it should not have taken property, perhaps even from some residents I've heard, but I don't know that for a fact. And as a result, if you if you grant this zoning change, a great deal of money will be made by other actors. Water company makes money, builder makes money, real estate individual makes money, and the more you downzone, the more money is going to be made. Hopefully, money is not being made under the table by the people who changed this designation. Because wetland is wetland, and you shouldn't be building on wetlands. Thank you.
Wayne.
Good evening, members of the board. As you know, this town retained me to defend this property. I went to the Court of Appeals of the state of New York, the highest court we have. At that time, the water company wanted to get rid of this property. And they argued that the zoning code improperly had zoned it R80. All of the justices of the court agreed with me and said no. It was part of a comprehensive plan. You change this now. There is no reason why every R80 zone in the town shouldn't be changed. I'm going to tell you that right off the bat, as an attorney for many, many, many years. What you will do here will have repercussions throughout the entire town. Is there any benefit in having open spaces, large zoning? Court of Appeals thought there was. The Court of Appeals thought there was. The four justices agreed. You have some high density, you have low density, you have middle density, and you have this very low density. It provides a comprehensive plan. You know what? I bought this property knowing it was R80. I bought it, but I don't want it to be R80. I refuse. I want to make more money. Your obligation is to the people of the town of Orangetown. This R80 is going to be, if you change this, it will be the default of the town of Orangetown. Because I'm going to tell you something, and I'm going to tell you right up front. If I represent any other client who has R80, there is no reason why that shouldn't be changed too. Why not? You gave it to him, why not to me? Why not? This would be a comprehensive change of the zoning and the master plan for no reason other than greed, to be honest with you. I bought it. I knew it was R80. I knew I had to develop it as R80, but I don't want to. So I'm coming to you and asking you to change it. And every R80 zone in the town will be changed. Because there is no reason why they shouldn't be. None. Zero. You make this mistake, you will live with it. You will live with it. And the town will be forever changed. It is important for us to have some open space. It is important for us to have not every single spot developed to high density.
Anybody else who has not had a chance to speak that would like to speak? This gentleman, either one.
Hi, I'm Tom Macy from Blauvelt, and I'd like to speak as someone raising the next generation of perhaps Blauvelt residents. I have 3 girls who all go to the South Orangetown schools. I grew up here as well, and like Michael said, I remember playing throughout Orangetown and sort of watching in awe of just all these spaces just kind of being absorbed by the development over the years. And my mom's property does abut the parcel in question, and I do think that the compromises that some people are suggesting just seem so reasonable. And to try to downsize each lot to absolutely every last dollar out of it. You know, is that really what we're trying to do? I mean, why? Other than to benefit the people that would make money from it. And, you know, frankly, you know, I don't want my daughters to grow up in a place like that. So strongly opposed, and I hope you all agree. Thank you.
Mary Ann Gavioli, 14 Warren Officer, Bower Lane. I've been a resident of the town of Orangetown for 44 years. I just wanted to point out that there's been a lot said about that the area is R15, and so this should be R15 and so forth. If you look at the abutting properties, the young man was just here, he said his mother's property abuts it. If you look at the two parcels right on Ellsworth Drive that abut it, one is 0.49 acres, which is not 1/3, maybe in the 1/3 zone. The one on the other side is 0.42 acres, those are closer to half acre. And then the one on Old Western Highway is 0.47. So just to give you a flavor, as you know, I feel the flavor, the culture, the atmosphere over there is really not R15. Yes, we do have R15 in the town, but we do have diversity of single-family homes. And just look at those budding ones. I'm not even talking about the R80 that abuts on the other side. Across the street is R40 also, and north of it is R40. But the actual lots on Ellsworth are not 1/3 acre in size, as I pointed out. This is public information. I do want to also thank the town board for posting all the documents. I appreciate the fact that I was able to click on and look at the map, look at this, and look at all the reports. So I'd urge you to not vote for an R15 zone change. Thank you.
Is there anybody else that hasn't had a chance to speak yet that would like to speak? Nope, going once, going twice, close it.
Make a motion to close the public.
Oh, well, you should have raised your hand, Don.
Oh,
Come on,
Don, I'm
come
sorry.
here. We said, does anybody else want to speak? What, you know?
Whoopsie-doo. Okay, I'd wanted to make an opening remark before because the town board at the last hearing gave us certain thoughts we should look at, and I just want to bring certain facts to your attention. One, I have been a resident of this town over 60 years. When a program was presented to construct sanitary facilities, there was always people objecting to these improvements. In fact, the town's sewer system is now one of the best in the state. When a developer wanted to build Lowe's complex on 303, certain people always objected to the project. In fact, the facility provides excellent service and is tax rateable to the town. Now a builder who has resided in this town over 60 years, built beautiful homes in this town, used local contractors for their homes, provided good value on the homes, and all his children went to the school system and graduated the school system and has gone on to colleges now, okay? He proposes to develop a parcel of land which are contrary to the statements which provide housing to the community needs. Okay, here's the point. The statements being made that the change will start a reaction which would change over 60 acres of land in the community, it's not true. The fact is that there is no 60 acres in this location to change the zoning, the revisions, and the abutting property which the water company owns cannot be developed. Next fact, the change will be limited to 13 residential lots. The flooding condition will be resolved since 1 acre of land will be dedicated to a passive buffer which will retain the water and separate the realty from the areas to the north. And this will clean up the drainage problem in the intersection of Lieber Road and Western Highway. It will also provide a corridor for wildlife, and possibly Mr. Greenwell will show you what that means. Who is going to buy these homes? The residents of the town and the children who grew up in the area and want to return to the community. The children who have been left and now have married and have families want to come back to Blauvelt. The children who live with their parents save money and have a down payment for it. These people will buy these homes because they like Blauvelt, and this fits into the character of Blauvelt, this kind of homes, okay? They stated that only 3 homes can be built on this parcel. It is not true. This zoning code has many other alternatives which can permit it. Now, in going over the statements that were made tonight, okay?
No, okay.
Look, you
Stop,
know-
he's the applicant, please. Stop. Okay. Wayne, okay. Go ahead, Mr. Bernafed, finish. We've never run the clock for the applicant. Just finish up. Right. So he's responding to 50 comments.
When the town board asked us to look at it, the map was revised, the map was sent back to the county highway department. The county highway department, in their subsequent letter, which nobody talks about, backed up the fact that this will clean up a drainage problem which consists in the area. So therefore, this will be very positive, not only to the county highway department, but also positive to the drainage which exists in the land, okay? Land was not, the water company did not want to get rid of the land. The water company was forced to get rid of the land by state decree, okay? Okay. Every property stands on its own. The case that Mr. Gavioli stated was properly stated. Yes, he said the town board of the town of Orangetown determines what's going to be done with the property. This does not create a trend. It creates housing that is needed in this facility. It creates housing that will fit into the character of this facility, and I think the board should look at it very carefully. He's a builder. He's a good builder. He's been here for many years. He's not one of these guys who comes in and runs and makes money. He's lived in this area, and he's done an excellent job in building homes in this area. Do you have any questions? Jay, you want to add anything to it?
Jay Greenwell, land surveyor. The only thing I wanted to add is that the original plan that we had presented the board with, which was an R15 layout, did show a small amount of wetland fill. There's an area of wetlands, approximately 15,000 square feet, near the northerly end of the property. And the original plan showed filling of 1/10 of an acre, which is consistent with what is permitted by the Army Corps of Engineers. This has never been designated as a state wetland. There is a piece of federal wetlands on the property that is created by the runoff, which is the drainage flooding that people are speaking of. And the current plan incorporates all of that wetland with a small portion of it extending to another person. But basically, about 90% of that federal wetland would be within the property that's being dedicated to the town, which is 40-some-odd thousand square feet, which is more than a builder's acre. And all of that would be preserved. So we are not building on wetlands. I just want to make that point clear. Thank you.
Thank you. Want to close it? Close? Yep, okay.
I make a motion to close the public portion of this hearing.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we're not going to be voting on this tonight. I would suggest probably we plan on voting on it the next meeting, but I do just have a couple of comments. So First, I'm going to start by saying outright that any suggestion that there's anyone on this board is doing this for money it's just not even insulting, you know. I don't know what money went to the Republican Party. I have no idea, but I can tell you it didn't come to me, okay? So that to me really works against your arguments. It really is just, if you have a problem with I'm open to everything about wetlands and everything, but when you start saying that there's ulterior motives up here, you start to lose me. But here's the reality. Rockland County, Orangetown, actually the whole nation has a severe housing shortage. Every budget, Governor Cuomo comes out and says, you know, I'm going to force you to have accessory dwelling units. I'm going to force, meaning that the town couldn't stop it. She was going to force us to have transit-oriented development. The latest budget now, she's giving money for deposits. Like, eventually, it's coming. They're going to force housing on us. So we have a housing shortage, and anytime the thought of a multifamily condo complex comes out of my mouth, I hear we're a single-family community. We're a single-family community. That's what we are. So here we have a single-family community. Now, yeah, R40 sounds good. I happen to live in an R22, right down the street from an R40. I will tell you that those R40 homes are mansions. You know, it's sad to say that even R22, what they sell in my neighborhood now, is still mind-boggling to me. But they are really large, expensive homes. I don't see that as helping anybody. You know, they talk about affordability of these not being affordable. Well, what is an R40 house going to be? You know, I don't see the benefit of an R40. Certainly don't see the benefit of an R80. So that's the kind of dilemma that we're faced with. You know, someone said we need affordable housing. Yeah, well, you know, I would have loved to see if we came out and said we're putting affordable housing on those lots, what we would have heard. So, so that's kind of just where I'm coming from with this. And I do just want to point out about the petition that's online, because I did see it. It basically starts with, please help us to stop overdevelopment in Blauvelt and Orangetown. You know, I would have signed that petition too if I saw that. Sure, I want to stop overdevelopment. But here's the thing. Overdevelopment is subjective, and it's a catchphrase that is used way too often these days, because I've come to the decision any development we don't want data centers. Well, we don't want those either. We don't want, you know, it seems anything that comes up, people don't want any change. So I went on to read the rest of the petition. Here's the question. Vote no on a request to increase density by 700%. Now, math is not my specialty, but I will tell you that 13 homes, they're allowed 3, so we're given 10 houses, is not a 700% increase in density. It went on to say that they could have 21 homes. Don't know where that came from. Never was 21. They never asked for 21, so that's just blatantly false and misleading. But we're not going to let facts get in the way of a good argument. Okay, so then they go on to say about the federal wetlands, which I think we just learned, you know, from over here, that, but we know that that lot is the lot with the wetlands, I don't know if it's federal or not, is being dedicated to the town for passive open space. So that was the last meeting that was presented. So again, if you want to argue facts, please argue facts. The other thing that I think I probably found most disturbing is the statement that the board said that an undesirable large-scale project would be built if dense housing is not allowed. I don't know that we ever said that, but the nature of the zoning and the size of these 3 individual lots means that very little can be built there except just a few homes. The planning board does not have to approve combining them into one property if the proposed development is out of character for the neighborhood. The planning board called the change drastic at their last meeting. Okay, so I don't know if this is just really being naive or is intended to mislead people, because it is completely false to suggest that the town board could refuse to merge lots to somehow thwart a use. So a school comes in and says, I want to merge my lots, and the planning board says, no, we're not going to let you. We're not going to let that. If you think that a lawsuit we wouldn't lose, we would be hit with big fees on that one. So it was explained, the lots would be merged, everyone has a right to it. The planning board have to explain why they're not doing it. If the only reason they're doing it is because we don't want the potential uses that are here up on the board to be there, forget our LUPA, we would be sued. goes on to say that these houses are well beyond the reach of most first-time homebuyers and downsizing seniors. So what do we think R80 is going to do? What do you think R40 is going to do? So you're arguing against yourself. Here's the problem. The underlying premise in this petition, and what I hear a lot of the comments is, it's either these houses or nothing. And that's just not the reality. Look at the zoning code. It's right here. It's either 3 homes on 2-acre lots, or a church, or a similar place of worship, a Sunday school building, a parish house, a rectory, a library, similar community facilities, schools of general instruction, schools of religious instruction, fire, police, and community-owned ambulance stations, and blah, blah, blah. So my point is that it's not going to be this or nothing. That's just the reality of it. So I just want to share some data with you, because I think it's important to have real facts when we have these conversations. This Orangetown overdevelopment concept that's out there, in 2024, 9 permits were issued for single-family homes, 2 of which were knockdowns. They were replacing existing homes. So we netted 7 new single-family homes. The year before that, 7 for new single-family homes. If you do the math, it's like a fraction. We have roughly 15,000 homes in unincorporated Orangetown. So this theory, you keep saying it's overdevelopment, doesn't make it true. If anything, the stats prove that it's not. So anyway, we're not voting tonight. We close the public hearing. Please, we gave you the respect to speak. You could give us the respect to speak. I think maybe we should just poll the board and see where we're going. And
yeah, and I'd like to say a few things. This property's been before us several times with at least a half a dozen different renditions of what they'd like to put on it. The properties can be grouped together, and when they are grouped together, you can get a lot of things like churches, houses of worship, schools, by right. They don't even have to come to us. Now, in South Nyack, they chose to say no to a few different developers, and you can see how Nyack College ended up. So it's not 3 single-family homes, or I want my property left open. We don't own the property. It's a private property. The developer has a right to come and ask for his own change. We could say no. That's all right. And we could tell him it's either 3 homes or nothing. And he could say, okay, I'm going to sell the property. The new developer can come in and do any one of the things that is permitted without going to us at all. So there are a lot of alternatives which are a lot worse for Blauvelt. I live in Blauvelt. My kids live in Blauvelt. My grandkids live in Blauvelt. I don't think this is overdevelopment. I live in, I think I live in R22, but I live in property that's similar to this in size. They didn't fill it up as much as they could in the R15 zone. They tried to be fairly reasonable. It's more like an R22 zone. I wish they would go to an R42, but he's telling us this is what he can do. I heard several suggestions, affordable housing. Is that really what you want in your backyard? Would you prefer that? How about cluster development? You know what that means? That's a townhome. I was one of the ones in the comprehensive plan who fought against townhomes and wanted to keep our town a single-family town. So is this a perfect solution? I don't think it's a perfect solution, but I think it's one that I could live with. That's my opinion.
okay, we're not doing this. Okay, you're good. Okay. No, you cannot. The public hearing's been closed, so we can't accept any more comments. We'll be voting on it at the next meeting, which is what? What's the next meeting? February what? February 11th. So, okay, well, can we take a 5-minute break? We're gonna. Right, right.
The difference is the applicant normally gets to speak at the beginning, we didn't allow, and at the end. The applicant's one person. You have 50 people, you got 4 minutes for 50 people, he didn't speak for 100 minutes.
Yeah.
It's insulting, by the way, but I didn't. You're more than welcome to come to the town board. I don't really like being here. But you're more than welcome to. Like, I don't need to be here now. Maybe change it. Yep. People are welcome to run again. We're back, number 17. Turn on your mic.
Can I get a motion to approve the change order and extend the contract to December 31st, 2024 for Venice Construction, Fanshawe, Rockland Electric, and Calgary Construction? This is the cleanup on the town hall, as I'm going to call it. Does that sound right, Jeff? Am I describing it right? The- Okay. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, see what we did here? Can I get a motion to combine and approve items 19 through 30?
Motion.
So it's basically all the boards. Okay, Dan, motion, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That was beautiful. Number 31, can I get a motion to approve the purchase of website services from Revise to make it handicap accessible? Motion. You have to make it for here.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Allison, now you and Matt can get to work. Number 32, approve, can I get a motion to approve the caretaker agreement for Nike Park for Louis Caputo?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the caretaker agreement for Henry Borst Park with Brian Edwards. Motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 34, approve the 2025 agreement with the Hudson Valley Humane Society for pound services. Motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 35, approve the one-year contract for 2025 for the fire protection services in Blauvelt Fire Protection District.
I
Motion?
make a motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Number 36, approve the one-year contract for library services for the 4 libraries. Motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, number 37, approve the letter. Anybody have any questions for?
I have a question.
Okay.
Now, is this finalized, if this sale is going through, is that what?
No.
Okay.
This is a letter of intent, so there's a lot of moving pieces from this point on.
So, I mean, I'm still teetering with selling town property. I mean, I like the gentleman's comment earlier tonight about town park, town property. I mean, that's why, I'm not.
Have you been up
fully
there?
sold on this.
Have you been up there?
I've been around that corner. I've
Okay,
not
you
walked
should
the
go
property.
up there before you, okay.
Yeah, go up there.
Yeah, no, because it's, we have the sewer plant there, the highway has a facility there, Parks has a really horrible facility there.
And there's an
It is
existing pump
not a
station.
nice-looking place.
Pump station.
So what this would involve is the construction of a new facility in a different location over by on the RPC site. Yeah, I think you should go look at it, because when I went to look at it, I had clarity.
I mean, I'm happy to hear the.
I mean, the reality is, when it's all said and done, how much money we'll make, it's good, because part of this is to see what the cost is to replace the other facilities. And so until we get that, neither one of us is really bound, because they're not committing, if it comes back at $3 million or whatever, they're not doing it, and vice versa. So, to me, the benefit of it is, we get new facilities, and I will
The
tell
Parks
you,
Department gets a brand-new.
Eric's back there, he will tell you, his building is absolutely disgusting. And then we have an income-producing, tax rateable. I mean, the energy issue is something that's new to me. I know that that's part of this period, too. They have to do due diligence to make sure that they have the capacity.
Well, yeah, they want to make sure that they can access the electric.
Power plant,
Yeah,
yeah.
because there's a couple of transfer stations nearby, so that's part of their
I
due
mean, that's what
diligence.
makes this lot.
So this is giving them permission to do their due diligence, but it's not bounding us.
Right, neither party is bound. Either party can, it's, if.
But we did get an appraisal. We did negotiate on the price based upon that. But yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else? Questions?
No.
Was that? Yeah, we had an appraisal. Remember they,
Yes.
yeah. Okay.
I make a motion to approve the letter of intent.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Number 38, approve the supplement agreement for municipal snow and ice agreement with the New York State DOT. This is a Jim Dean thing. So, motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Number 39, approve the retention of Collier's Engineering and Design to review the 2 traffic signals that we talked about, the one on Erie and Western Highway
Motion.
and Orangeburg Road. Somebody yell motion over here.
I did.
Second.
Finally
All in
getting Western
favor?
Highway in area, finally.
Yeah. Number 40, approve the award for,
Jerry?
no, Jerry made the motion and Dan seconded. Okay, approve the bid for the Freightliner Vac All Sweeper. That's some serious truck for $558,000.
$500,000 truck. I make a motion.
Only the best for our
Second.
guys. All in favor?
Aye.
Authorize an agreement with the New York State DOT to the Mountain View Avenue Sparkle Creek culvert replacement.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, did we vote on that?
No, all in favor?
Aye. Just coughing up a lung over there. Okay, 42, combine and approve agenda items 43 to 45.
Motion to combine and approve 43 to 45.
You moved it?
I think I did, yeah.
And you seconded it?
Sure.
And all in favor?
Sorry.
Aye.
Thank you. Sorry.
46, a motion to accept the memorial bench to be placed along the rail trail. Motion?
Motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And number 47, I gotta go. You guys finish up.
Accept a donation of a memorial bench for Sand Hedge.
I'll make a motion.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Go ahead, Paul.
Appoint Richard Godden, groundskeeper probationary, grade 9, step 1, effective February 10th.
Motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, police, accept funding from Rockland County for stop DWI enforcement.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Appoint Lisa Portco, senior clerk typist, permanent, grade 5, step 4, effective January 29th.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approve lease agreement with the town of Ramapo relating to the use of the firing range.
Motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approve a second extension to the agreement between Rockland County and the town. Rockland County Lead Law Enforcement Assisted Division. Lead Law
Diversion.
Enforcement Assisted Division.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Demi. Accept with regret the resignation of James Doherty, Assistant Plant Operator. 22, he worked for the town for 22 years.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Accept with regret the resignation, retirement of Eileen Fitzpatrick, clerk typist from personnel.
Motion.
Motion.
Jerry seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Accept with regret the resignation, retirement of Natalie Shutter, accountant 2 from financing. Motion?
Motion.
I'll second it. Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Approve engagement letter, capital market advisors to be our financial advisor.
Make a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Accept resignation, retirement of Liz Cabell, senior clerk typist from Justice Court.
Motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Accept, receive, and file documents from the town clerk's office. And there's a list of documents on the agenda.
Motion.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Just in time for the audit.
You know, you can hear you very clearly in that back room. Seriously, I was like, oh, this is very clear back here.
Thanks, Jeff. Wow.
Okay, the audit for tonight's meeting consists of 6 warrants for $3.5 million. Items of interest, number 1, Commissioner of Finance, $566,000 for tax certiorari's. Number 2, Turco Golf, $122,000 for the Blue Hill Bunker project. Number 5, Department of Civil Service, $1 million for healthcare benefits. Number 6, Troon Golf, $203,000 for the golf course maintenance contracts. Number 8, Commissioner of Finance, $426,000 for community college chargebacks. Number 18, Train, $152,000 for a replacement HVAC units at the Demi Building. And number 21, Atlantic Salt, $52,000 for highway salt purchases. Any questions on the audit?
I move to accept the audit.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Now we have the new business.
Do you have that?
Do you have it? Yeah. No, Allison.
Here. Here's a copy.
Oh. Okay. Okay. So the first one is a motion to appoint Brendan Hauser to the position of temporary police officer. I guess that's it. Effective February 3rd, 2025. Motion?
I make a motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
And the next one is a motion to nominate Matthew Fahey to the position of police officer, resident of town of Orangetown. Okay. Motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, let's see what we got here. We have executive session, correct?
Yeah.
To employment? Okay, so we're gonna go into executive session, we're not gonna vote when we come out. We do have an adjournment, we're gonna be adjourning, in memory of, Eleanor Casey, a resident of Orangeburg, and grandmother of Orangetown, police officer Patrick Casey. So on that note, can I get a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I gotta look. I was on the list.
We could have given you 3 minutes.
You may find it offensive, but I wrote on the, okay, Don Gable, dick.